What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Tater Talk. It's the regular season. It's already begun. I think we're about a week or two in now, and this is our first podcast since towards the end of spring training. So we're a little bit late here, but better late than never. I'm your host, Justin Ledger, here with Graz. No Zack today. So we still got those scheduling conflicts going on, but we're kind of starting to figure it out now. I think the plan is to do bi-weekly on Mondays. That's when we'll be doing most of our recordings. So I think that's the plan, Graz, right?
I'm fine with that plan. Let's see if Zack can get out of some meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. There's always going to be those meetings. There's always going to be things that pop up over the course of the regular season. We'll figure it out as we go. But for now, we got a pretty solid episode ahead. We're going to just jump right into it here with little updates going. We'll start with the American League, and then we'll get to the National League. For first couple weeks of the season, a lot of shit has gone down. So we're going to get to all of it right here. AL, well, we're going to start with your Yankees, Graz. So I can't say my Red Sox are doing much better, but the Yankees, they're not looking great either. It's mostly due to injuries. Health has been a big issue for the Yankees to start the year. We usually have the Graz Yankee Minute. This is pretty much your Graz Yankee Minute right here. So just let it all out.
So very simply, we have to start with the idea that these injuries are piling up. Honestly, if you want these 10-day IL, not DL, IL, we're all on it, injuries to happen, this is the time of year. It was just alarming that everyone got hurt. I felt like the Mets for the first month or first couple weeks.
Right.
Which is pretty stressful. So I guess starting with the big topic, Stanton gets hurt once a year. So I'm happy it's now and not at the end of the year.
Get it out of the way, yep.
Not worried. Didi we knew about. So that's fine. CC, we knew he was recovering.
Jacoby Ellsbury was a big surprise.
Jacoby Ellsbury, I don't even think about. I wasn't even going to list him on this.
I every now and then, I forget he exists, and then his name will pop up on like the Yankee. It'll list all the players that are currently injured for the Yankees, and Ellsbury's on there, and it's hilarious every time.
Yeah,
it never gets old.
He's off the radar. We have Clint Frazier hitting dinger after dinger. Yep. I don't need anything about Ellsbury. What I wanted to discuss is that Andujar sliding into second base and the rotator cuff or shoulder.
That one hurts.
That one hurts a lot.
Literally.
Yeah, but I'm saying it, and I'm wondering from a different perspective from you as a Yankee fan. Did you know he was really good?
Oh, yeah.
He'll play third, and I'm not that worried about it as I should be.
I had no idea he was that good defensively at third. Like I don't think he actually played. Did he play third before that?
I think he played second. I think he played second most of the time.
I know he played second. I just didn't know if he ever played third. Like if they ever shifted him over there. I don't think they did.
No, because Arenado plays like 159 games a year.
Exactly. So for him to just be able to go over to third and start making web gem after web gem, it's pretty impressive. The thing with LeMahieu is I still think he's sort of a product of Coors. Like hitting wise, like he won the batting title that year. And I was like, okay, that makes absolutely like he was nothing when his brief time in Chicago, He was not good. Like he just wasn't good. And then he goes over to Coors. He's hitting 340 with like 20 balls. It made 0 sense. So I'm curious to see if that continues for the Yankees, if he actually carries that success over for a full season. But what are your thoughts on like the newcomers so far for the Yankees? Ottavino, also Tulo.
Tulo's hurt. But
yeah.
If you're going into the season thinking that Tulo wasn't going to be immediately hurt, then you're literally an idiot. That's like the fake Yankee fans that just wear a hat and Tim's and walk around.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, injuries! The Yankees can't catch a break, dude." You knew what you were getting yourselves into when you got Tulo, right?
Yeah,
like, that's par for the course.
And they're like, "Oh, they have 12 people on the IL." There's only 3 people out of those 12 that I'm concerned about, and one of them I knew was going to be on there,
exactly.
And then the other 2, I'm hoping Sevy comes back. That's I think the most important because that completes the pitching rotation. Because now we got like random people throwing innings. Even though I'm a big Domingo Germán guy, no one else is, but I'm firmly putting on this podcast that I am a Domingo Germán guy.
It's official.
It's official. People need to know.
What are your thoughts on James Paxton?
He's fine, but that's exactly what I expected. Like I expected him to be okay.
Yeah, I mean he's not an ace.
No.
He was referred to as the Mariners' ace because they didn't have a guy. Like Felix Hernandez is a shell of his former self, so Paxton he had to be the guy. They had no one else that could even be considered an ace.
I mean, if he wins 12 to 15 games this year, goes to like, let's say like 14-7 and has an ERA under 4, that's a good season for me. That's what I'm looking for, 2-3.
Once he let off that leadoff home run to I think it was VR on the Orioles.
Did you watch that inning? That was a disastrous pitching evening.
He figured it out after that, sort of. But that was I was worried for Yankee fans after watching that. I was like, this guy stinks. Like this is against the Orioles we're talking about.
Also, Oriole comment of the day. Vlar, first fantasy baseball team ever this year. We'll get into that later. I was going to talk about that as my one last thing.
Okay.
But he's on the team. He's good anyway. I think he's actually good. Him and Mancini are actually good, and everyone else is terrible on the team. But
Chris Davis, man.
Okay. Awful. We'll talk about that. Yeah. But Paxton, his ability to settle down, and he has the thing now where I think he's learning that, I'm on the Yankees, and if I give up 3 runs in the first inning, if I keep it to 3 runs over 5-6 innings, we still probably will win the game.
Yeah, and that will be the case all season long for not just him, obviously, but for the rest of the Yankee starters. They have that significant advantage, and obviously, I mean, the bullpen speaks for itself too. Yeah. Some of the stuff. There's several guys now out of the bullpen who I just don't understand how they make the ball move at like 97 miles per hour. It makes absolutely no sense what they can do.
Ottavino's slider is the real deal. He hasn't figured it out quite yet, but that's what relievers are in the beginning of the year. They're kind of figuring out. But you watch that pitch, it starts at like the waist and ends at the knees and right-handed batter, and I'm like, I don't know how you hit that.
Yeah, I think I said this when he first got signed to the Yankees. I said I was like, that was devastating for me because Ottavino's one of my personal favorites, and you guys got a good one on it. I mean, it sucks that you guys got rid of Robertson, because if you guys kept Robertson and had the bullpen as constructed right now, you'd be virtually unstoppable. But Ottavino is that Robertson replacement, and that bodes well for you guys.
And that was and honestly, you could probably agree with this, is the fact that was just to spike the Red Sox, a classic like Mark Teixeira. Oh, the Red Sox want him. Let's just sign him because F the Red Sox.
Yeah, I can totally see that. So that's the Yankees. I don't know if we have. I mean,
they started winning again. They're doing okay. They'll figure it out. They hit 7 home runs yesterday. I can't be too upset.
They lost the series to the Tigers too, the Orioles and the Tigers.
Well, so if we're going to talk about the Tigers, I think the Tigers are going to be more upstart than you think. I'm a big Christian Stewart guy.
Guys, he had his first career Grand Slam this week. So props to Kristen Stewart. That's all the Tigers talk that we're going to have for you guys today. Talk. Kristen Stewart, pretty good. Let's go over to the Red Sox here. So they're not doing very well either. They started with a horrible series in Seattle, continued that horribleness into Oakland, and we're not very good in Arizona either, even though they did win 1-0 last night. So good job, Red Sox. In all seriousness, I'm actually worried about this starting rotation. I know they say they're starting off slow with Chris Sale, like ramping him up as the season goes on. You shouldn't be throwing 89 in a regular season game. That should not be happening. I could see maybe if he was hovering around like 92, 93. Yep. All right, fine. Yeah, you're starting slow. He's fragile, so I understand being careful with Sale. 89 is like, we're talking like, that's like Jamie Moyer stuff. So I'm worried about Chris Sale. I'm worried about Nathan Eovaldi is not like anything close to what Boston thinks he is. He's always been a 4.5 ERA guy. He's going to be that again. He's going to regress to the mean. Rick Porcello will give you a ton of innings. The guy he's very reliable in that sense. He's durable. He's not an AL Cy Young. That was an anomaly. I could go up and down. Eduardo Rodriguez, never going to happen. That's pretty much my main concern. And I thought it was going to be the bullpen with the Red Sox this season. It's the starting rotation. I think the bullpen actually will figure itself out. There will be down points. The rotation is what scares me. And I thought that was going to be the strength heading into this year. I never thought I'd be saying that. I'm
proud of you for complaining about the entire rotation, and you did not mention David Price once.
I'm not worried about David Price.
He looks good. He actually looks fine.
I'm not. That's the one that I didn't want to, because all the other ones, like Price is Price. He's going to have his down days too. But you know what you're getting out of David Price. Those other 4 guys, you do not know. Like, it is so up in the air. And the thought that they extended Chris Sale to a mega extension, and that might disable them from being able to get a Mookie Betts or JD if and when they hit free agency, or it might prevent them from extending them. That's an issue. If you're getting this Chris Sale, that is an issue. So all that stuff I'm worried about. This 3-8 start, I'm actually not worried about, because it's just, if you're worried about a 3-8 start for the Red Sox, you're basically saying the 7-3 start by the Tigers means something, and that they're actually going to be like a contender at the end. It just doesn't mean anything. The first couple weeks do not mean anything. So I'm not worried in that sense yet.
Are you worried at all about? So I've been bugging my Red Sox friends by saying this is the last year of the Red Sox window, and I say it kind of tongue in cheek to get after
Right.
them, but it hurts them because it means a little bit to them. Do you believe that? Because they're freaking out like this is their last World Series chance.
I don't
In a
think that's
while.
necessarily true, only because the Red Sox are going to spend. If they don't get Mookie, they're gonna figure it out. So, like they might suffer because they're not gonna be able to get a player like Mookie or a player like JD, but they're going to spend. They're gonna overspend on somebody to fill their place. Like they're gonna figure it out, and that's just what Dombrowski does. So I'm I know the window's closing, but they're doing a good job of they're bringing back Sale. Hopefully, he's actually Chris Sale for these next 5-6 years. Xander Bogaerts, didn't think that was going to happen. They extend him.
That was a good deal.
That was a great deal. So I didn't think it was going to happen, and it did. So that's always a good thing. But there's still question marks there. Porcello's gone after this year. There's no way they're going to extend him. So now the attention shifts to Mookie and JD. I think if they maintain one of those guys, they're going to be fine. The window is going. It's going to be another few years before we should really worry. If they miss out on both of those guys, I think there's a cause for concern there.
Gut decision. Don't think about it at all, and you could feel free to change your mind later on. Will Mookie leave?
Gun to head.
Gun to head. Like you have to make a decision.
Yes.
You feel free. Yeah, I think so too.
Gun to head. Yes.
I think someone's going to give him a ridiculous. Like the Red Sox are going to give him a good offer. They're going to give him like a Bryce Harper, Washington Nationals, like 300. By that time, it'd be like.
I actually think that's a great comparison. I think that whole thing could go down exactly the way Harper's situation went down, where they kind of give him a good offer, but then he wants to test free agency, and then they lowball him with an offer, and he says, "See you later."
Yeah, and then some team could offer Mookie Betts Trout money.
Right. And by the way, I think the Trout Betts comparison, like people are saying that Betts deserves close to he does not. He's had 2 good seasons. So he's had 3 good seasons, but one of them was significantly worse than the other 2. Like he needs to do it over a longer period of time before you can start making the Trout comparison.
I was trying to describe that to Trout, like people at work who aren't as into baseball as I am. And I was saying, and I said it very simply, that Trout is on lists that people shouldn't be on lists at his age. And I wanted to bring this up with you, I guess, because he's still starting hot. So I guess it makes sense that he's rolling right in as usual. But like when they like bring up graphics with Mike Trout, whenever you play the Angels, like Nesson brings up a graphic, it's like, oh, he's on a list with DiMaggio, Williams, Ruth, and Gehrig. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And like Mookie Betts is like, oh, he's better than Aaron Judge. Cool. I get that. But he's not on a list with like, oh, he's on pace to break Hank Aaron's record in 500 at bats or something.
Mookie's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Mookie is one of the best players. He's a top 5 player right this second. He's not even on Trout's planet.
No.
Like he's better than Harper. So if he gets Harper money, I wouldn't be surprised, but he's not on Trout's planet. And it's a Boston bias thing. People will overrate. It goes for New York too. People overrate their own players. So if you go anywhere in Boston, it's gonna be the same conversation as Trout. If you go anywhere else than Boston, it's like obviously this guy's not Mike Trout. So, and speaking of Mike Trout, people are getting to see a lot more. I just wanted to mention this briefly. People are gonna get to see a lot more of him because MLB's Twitter hitter thing. Have you seen this on Twitter?
Where they show like all of the at bats.
It's bet like Mike Trout wins it every single time. So I think people are starting to see more of them. I hope MLB starts doing more of this type of stuff where they promote their players in this way. I think this is a good starting point. So I want to see more of this with Mike Trout because people got to see his grand slam this week. People got you don't see that on a regular basis with Mike Trout because he's stuck in Anaheim. So that I always like seeing that stuff.
I'm always shocked by how baseball still feels so regional when I'm like, I could literally call someone in China right now. Like it shouldn't be that way.
I know. Yeah, I agree. So that's the Red Sox and the Yankees. Both suck right now, but I guarantee you at the end of the season, we're going to be talking to them, about them as
there's people at work. Last thing on the Red Sox, people at work that are like, oh, I don't think the Red Sox are going to make the postseason now. I'm like,
that's just insane. That's just insane.
I then made certain individuals list all of the teams in the AL that they think would make the playoffs. So you need 4 teams that are better. 5 teams that are better than the Red Sox.
5 teams better than the Red Sox. So the only team that I would say has a chance of sneaking up on the Red Sox and making things very interesting is the team we're going to get to next, the Rays. I don't know why. Like on paper, this team is just not very appealing at all. Like at all. And
It's
they
Blake Snell and
always
some guys.
it's Blake Snell, some guys. Charlie Morton's on there now. Whoopee. Like they got Tommy Pham, their star player Tommy Pham. And they're good. The Rays are fucking good. They haven't lost a series so far this year. So
I got to ask you
yeah,
before we get into the Rays. This is my Rays question I had for you. I didn't put
yeah.
on gut feeling. Is Cash the best manager in baseball?
It's tough to like.
He does the best job. He does like a Brad Stevens last year job where you're like, I don't know any of these people, but we were winning 90 games. So I don't.
I mean, he's definitely up there. I don't know about like best because obviously I'm sure he has strengths and weaknesses just like every other manager. And it's not like I'm tuning into every single Rays game to see what Kevin Cash is up to. He does a lot of things right. I mean, he proved that last year it was very unorthodox, the whole opener thing. Like no one was really, now everyone's doing it. Like I said before we started recording, the Red Sox did the opener strategy yesterday. So it's catching on, and it's a credit to what Kevin Cash built last year. We made that bet before the season. Will the Orioles or the Rays be worse? And the Rays won fucking 90 games. So I mean,
a big dollar.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I think he deserves all the credit in the world. Another guy who deserves all the credit in the world is Jose Alvarado. I don't know if you've seen what this guy's done for the Rays this year. He has a 0 ERA the last time I checked. In I think it's 4 appearances. Guy's just mowing everybody down. He throws wiffle balls on the mound. It's amazing to see. We were just talking about Ottavino. Alvarado is that in more, almost, it looks like, if he keeps this up.
It's incredible that he can get some moves. So I was watching via your Twitter, plug your own Twitter while I talk about this.
Justin J. Ledger, follow.
There it is. His movement, like where it starts and then goes inside, and he can hit the inside corner. Like, I'm not a pitching person, but I'm always shocked by, like, it can move so much and still clip that corner and get the called strike call. When you're a left-handed batter, I'm like, I don't know what you do with that. That's in your – if you swing at that, you're going to foul it off like an idiot or miss it. And if you don't swing at it, it's a strike.
Have you ever thought about what you would look like, or what the average person, I should say, would look like walking up to the plate and facing a major league hitter? Like, how silly you would look? That's how these hitters are looking against Alvarado, Ottavino, like all these relievers. All these guys are making them look like little leaguers. It's crazy to watch.
It comes to this idea that I had. I came from somewhere. I don't know the source. If it's your idea, tweet the pod and let me know. That all these pitchers are now coming up in response to the Powerball hitting that we watched as a kid. And so everyone's specialized in like, okay, we need to go be pitchers because everyone's hitting the ball out of the ballpark, like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Barry Bonds when we were kids. And so now these pitchers are so specialized in, I'm pitching 1 inning, so I just need to like throw 12 of my best pitches of the day.
Right. Yeah.
And then that like rose into this generation. So then you get like people like Ottavino, Vergés, and Alvarado, and people that just have
Jordan Hicks, another one in the National League. That guy is just he throws 105, but he's also got like a filthy slider. The guy's unbelievable.
And so I shout out to Chuck, my friend who very big baseball fan, big pitching guy. He was a pitcher in college, and he's like, he doesn't know how to pitch yet. Hicks doesn't know how to pitch. He's just like, he throws the ball fast.
Yeah.
And that's what he knows how to do. He's like young. He's like, in 2-3 years, Jordan Hicks might be the best player you've ever seen. I'm like, I'm kind of okay with that.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of these guys now. It's one of my, like, sneakily one of my favorite things to watch is just a nasty reliever like that. So if you guys have not heard of Jose Alvarado, you got to tune into a Rays game when he's pitching. We talk about Twitter hitters. There should be Twitter pitchers. They should tune in for when Jose Alvarado takes the mound. Like that should be the next MLB thing.
That's what the pitching ninja is. That's why that's a big Twitter follow for me. That's a good one.
Pitching ninja is a great follow.
Yeah. But
that's how I learn about a lot of these guys.
Every team I feel like has one ridiculous reliever except for your Red Sox.
Except for the Red Sox, yeah.
Yep.
I saw that one coming from a mile.
Every team has one guy you're like, wow, this guy really could throw. Oh, and
do the Braves have one? The Braves bullpen sucks too. The Nationals bullpen sucks.
No, they have Doolittle. Doolittle's good.
Yeah, he's good. Shit. You're right.
My only example, you said we wouldn't talk about him again. The Tigers have never had a bullpen.
Never.
They got Shane Green coming in.
I remember they had that guy in 2013. That guy Ortiz hit that absolute bomb, like the bullpen.
Yeah,
when he hit one in the bullpen in that ALCS. Fucking Benoit or whatever his name was. They had him. He was actually good that year, and he just fell off the face of the earth after that happened to him. They also had that guy, Joel Zumaya, who got hurt playing Guitar Hero. That was pretty much the extent of the Tigers bullpen.
If you're getting hurt playing Guitar Hero, which Guitar Hero do you think he was playing?
Oh, I think that was a while ago, so probably Guitar Hero 2, which was a very good one. That was the best one. Yeah, he's probably playing that song. I don't know how big into Guitar Hero you were, but that song, Jordan, who that no one could beat, that song he was probably playing. That's how he hurt himself.
Oh, class, Buckethead. I think that's by
Buckethead. Yeah. He was probably playing the Buckethead song, and that's how he got hurt. That's my theory.
You gotta get down to the orange one. It's always tough.
It's tough. Yeah, that's where I was actually a decent. I'm not trying to like pump my own tires here. I was a pretty good Guitar Hero player. Just throwing that out there. Maybe I'll have to make I don't actually have the game anymore, but if I'm playing Guitar Hero ever again, I'll have to make a video of myself and tweet it out on the Tater Talk Twitter account.
Oh, please do.
And then at Joel Zumaya on Twitter and be like, hey, buddy, like, this is how it's done.
Challenge him. Make it happen. It's not like you hit a home run off Sal Romano or something. So.
That would be good content. Me versus Joel Zumaya and Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That'd be...
have to find it. Actually, I probably have one still. Yeah, let's do this.
You know how Tosh.0 did, like, web redemptions?
Yeah.
I'd like to do something similar to that with Joel Zumaya.
Oh, and then you can play Fortnite with David Price.
I mean, let's set up the Twitch account right now.
Layup. This is an easy layup.
Perfect. The AL Central sucks. Speaking of the Tigers here.
I'm in on our Twins. You got to watch my Twins.
I got the Twins actually winning the Central. We didn't get to do a predictions episode because we've kind of been off the radar lately. If we done a predictions episode, I would have picked the Twins. So I got them winning the division.
I watched the game for work. We got like assigned a game to do, and I watched a Twins game the other day, and they have a sneaky good lineup. Like their lineup, like you're like looking, you're like, oh, Nelson Cruz, Kepler, like this is like there's got some hitters in this lineup.
Yeah, they just need pitching. It's always a matter of pitching with the Twins. They obviously have Barrios, who's filthy when he's on, but he's not a sure thing. The rest of that rotation is kind of maybe, and that's what could kind of separate the Indians from them again this year. Is the Indians' rotation's absolutely filthy, but they don't have any hitting. Lindor's been hurt. When he comes back, that'll be good. But it's really just him and Jose Ramirez in that lineup. Maybe Carlos Santana, and everyone else kind of sucks. So it's two very different teams.
I really think the loss of Brantley was bigger than we realized. People don't realize how good Michael Brantley is.
Yeah. That's why I think the Astros are going to win it all again this year. Is because when you insert a guy like Brantley in that line, assuming he stays healthy, that's the big issue with Brantley. If he's healthy and he's in that lineup along with the rest of that stacked Astros lineup, and you get that rotation, that Verlander, Garrett Cole 1-2 is unbelievable. If all of that stays the way it should be, like if no one gets hurt or anything like that, they're going to win it all again this year. That's my prediction anyway. But going back to the AL Central for a sec, it really is just the Twins and the Indians, and everyone else is rebuilding. I know the Tigers are 7-3. That's not going to happen.
Have you noticed that the what is it called? I can't think of the damn team. Oh, there it is. The Royals have
no one thinks of that team.
No one thinks of that team. Have you realized that the Royals have like 3 guys or 4 guys that can steal like 30 or 40 bases, and they're just going all in on speed?
Mondesi is him and Billy Hamilton is like the thing is they can't get on base.
Can steal? No, you can't steal first. It's my uncle always says.
So that they got to figure that out first. But Billy Hamilton's one of the worst actual players that I've ever seen. He's so fast, and he's actually a pretty good center fielder, but like at the plate, he just looks lost.
My uncle's a Reds fan, the biggest Red fan I know, and he said if he could just lean in more, like he would just have Billy Hamilton stand on the inner part and try to get hit as many times. Like wear a nice arm pad and you just get hit on the arm as many times as you possibly could.
Yeah. And it's an automatic double.
Yeah.
So they should probably figure that out. The Royals, no one's paying attention to him. This Mondesi guy intrigues me only because if he does figure it out at the plate, which he actually hit an inside the park home run first week of the season. So that obviously got some eyeballs on him, but he's intriguing. That's all I'll say. Like he's an intriguing he still has that time to develop. Whereas, we already know what Billy Hamilton is. Mondesi still has that time to develop into a decent hitter too. And if he gets it all figured out, he could be something. And then the rest of the AL Central is not. The White Sox, Yoan Moncada looks like he's figuring it out, which is good for them. They're still the White Sox. They didn't get Machado, so they don't matter this year. That's pretty much that. And they don't have Michael Kopech because of Tommy John surgery. So it sucks for them.
Is that the guy from the Sox that's like dating the supermodel?
Yeah.
That guy? I'm in on that guy.
I'm in on that guy too, but
I don't know if he's good. I'm just in on his vibe.
Well, he throws like 100. He walks a lot of guys. So, we'll see what happens after Tommy John surgery,
I like their other pitcher. I never remember him, but he's always
Lucas
on
Giolito.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the worst pitcher in baseball last year, so he's kind of trying to get rid of that.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
He just seemed like a nice guy. He was talking to D-Row on like MLB Central
that
once, and I'm like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. I'm gonna root for this guy.
Yep. He's definitely worth rooting for. He was supposed to be one of their better pitchers, but I think a lot of the I'm not a big advanced stats guy. Like I know they matter, but I'm not really huge into them. I think a lot of Lucas Giolito's like shittiness last year was due to bad luck. Like there's stats that can point to like, hey, this guy actually wasn't that bad. He got very unlucky. And I think he's one of those guys. So we'll see what he does this year. That's all the AL Central's talk we're doing. That division.
That might be it for the year.
The one last thing I'll say about it, the Indians rotation has like 3-4 Cy Young candidates. So
I need Carrasco to pitch so well for a reason I will explain later.
Fantasy baseball.
I don't understand it.
All right. AL West. Are we going to do this Mariners thing again this year?
We sold the Mariners. We pushed them down the well. They traded Cano. We were out. And Diaz.
We're done with the Mariners.
We're done with the Mariners.
Forever.
They're awesome.
They're not a real team. They do this every year. They've won every series this year so far. I think they're like 9-2. So, they got some hitters. I'll give them that. They got a pretty decent lineup. This is just a flat. Like they're gonna lose 85 games by the end of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just rooting for the Japanese pitcher to be good.
So far, so good. I think I didn't see his second start, but
he's like solid. He's like Tanaka, like not amazing, but we'll give you good starts.
Yeah, so that's the Mariners. That's really all. They're still gonna be rebuilding when all is said and done. They're doing a better job of it though than other teams. I'll say that.
Question. I'm done with the Mariners. The Mariners are done. Okay. Yep. Question. Did you see the picture of the batting averages and on base percentages in the Angels lineup surrounding Mike Trout? I believe Rosenthal might have tweeted, Rosenthal, I don't know, a baseball writer retweeted it the other day.
One of those like player A, player B. Like,
exactly, but like the whole lineup. And Mike Trout was like 380, and I think it was OPS, and it was like 1460. And then everyone else was like right around the Mendoza line at 200 with an OPS of like 400. And it was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
That is very sad. That's a very sad story. Speaking of the Angels there, Trout and the Angels, like we're going to do this thing again where it's like, why can't Trout carry? Like a lot of just uneducated people think that Trout isn't as good as he is because he's not carrying the Angels to the postseason. We're going to have another one of those years this year. It looks like the Angels, it's just pitching. The Angels just don't have it. They never do.
Remember when Shane Richards was supposed to be it?
You mean Garrett Richards?
That's exactly.
Yeah. He's on the Padres now, and God, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know how he's doing.
I didn't remember his first name. That's embarrassing.
He was like a Cy Young candidate at one point.
Yeah. I would have known his name if he was still good.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Garrett Richards. Yeah. Is there anything else worth talking about on the AOS other than the Astros? We already touched on them being a wagon again. I think the Rangers suck. So
the only reason to watch what? I
was gonna say with the A's, Ramon Laureano absolutely just took a shit on the Red Sox.
Oh, he was gonna take a shit on the whole league. Yeah, throwing people out. He's gonna have like a Melky Cabrera like 2010 season where he throws out like 13 runners.
Yeah,
and
I think he had like 9. He wasn't even a full-time player last year, I don't think, and he had 9 outfield assists.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of your butthurt Red Sox fans being like, it was safe at home. I'm like, I don't care. He threw it on a one hop from home. That was awesome.
Yeah,
happy he's out.
That's the one thing I don't like about replay is that people were allowed to just complain like that. Like it would be like, oh my God, he was like, appreciate the throw, dude. The guy gunned him at home plate. Just appreciate it. And we weren't. I feel like we weren't really able to appreciate that throw because of replay. That whole process just sucks.
Yeah.
Zack just joined the show. We got to surprise Zack on the show. We said at the beginning that he wasn't going to make an appearance. He's here. What's up, Zack?
What's going on, guys? One of my meetings ran short, so I'm here.
He's here. All right, we got the full crew. We're currently talking about Ramon Laureano. What are your thoughts on him taking a shit on the Red Sox?
Yeah, I don't know why they kept running on him that series. It was clear. The craziest thing to me with him is he doesn't even look where he's throwing it. He just like has that knack of I just can put it on the spot I need to without even looking, which is even crazier. It's like a 3-point shooter, not even looking at the hoop and just being able to put it in.
I think Laureano used to be on the Astros, and that while he was on the Astros, Alex Cora was the bench coach for the Astros. And he was like, I don't know how Cora goes to the Red Sox and allows that to happen, knowing that Laureano has that cannon for an arm. If you're Cora, you have to rip apart your players for trying to run on this guy. For the first time it happens, it cannot happen again. It just kept happening.
Yeah, I felt like they were struggling. I mean, you guys already probably discussed it. Red Sox have been struggling a bit, so I think they were just trying to make something happen a lot of that series.
Season hasn't officially started yet for the Red Sox. Season starts
That's
tomorrow.
true. Yep, until they play at Fenway.
So we just covered the entire American League. We're going to go over to the NL right now, run right through it, starting in the East. And the Mets, are they for real? Because they look for real. Is this going to be one of those years where they start out, like last year, they started out the season hot? I think we had this exact same conversation. And then they ended up not being for real. So is this the for real season for the Mets?
Graz, what's the news out of New York? What are
news out of New York
saying about the Mets?
Okay. They're cautiously optimistic because of last year starting 11-1.
As they should be.
They're freaking out. But they have the same ability to say, oh, if they stay healthy, I think they could be a playoff team, which they're not wrong about. But this is like the 6th year in a row that it's happened. And the problem is that they have this unwelling confidence to that ability because they made the World Series when they stayed healthy one year. And that was cool. And also it helped that Cespedes had a Mickey Mantle type second half. But their lineup is actually very good. They're defensively good. Their young players are playing well. And they do have the pitching and DeGrom is the best pitcher in baseball.
Oh, bar none. That guy's unbelievable. Last year, I know he won the NL Cy Young last year. I didn't get fully in on DeGrom just because I'm like, okay, let's see another year of it. He's been a solid. Always thought of him as a solid number 2. Before that season, I thought him as the 1B to Noah Syndergaard's 1A. That's completely switched. It's not even remotely close now. DeGrom is not. It's not even close. He's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, I think they're for real too. Honestly, I love when teams do this because the Padres tried to do this a little while ago, where they go out and kind of change the shape of their whole team, hoping it will change things. And the Mets needed a change. I think there was some bad culture in that clubhouse. They bring in Cano, they bring in Diaz, they bring in a couple other guys, they get rid of a couple guys. Their pitching to me is what makes them a contender. I mean, you go DeGrom, Syndergaard, who's got a better 1-2 in the National League right now?
Not many. Yeah, it's tough to think of one, that's for sure. The one thing I will say is the NL East as a whole is very competitive, and I'm interested to see. I am in on the Mets this season, but they got their work cut out for them if they actually want to win that division. It's going to be tough. With the Phillies, obviously, they just revamped their entire roster. The Braves are no joke, and they won the division last year, so why can't they do it this year? The whole division, except for the Marlins, obviously. Those poor Marlins, to be in that division with so many good teams and just to have absolutely no talent on yours, that's tough.
Can we all admit that the Marlins, the things they did to their ballpark look great compared to the shit show they had in the outfield prior? They changed the whole outfield.
They made it blue. Better. They made it actually the color of the goddamn team.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I still don't like the uniforms. I'm still a hater for the uniforms.
Why did they change their logo? Well, they didn't change the logo, but the colors, every year, it's
awful take. They actually got them right this time.
I know I think I'm in the minority on the Marlins uniforms thing. I don't know. I don't like them. I didn't like the other ones though either.
Do you not like the Heat because they're like the Heat uniforms, like the Miami Vice uniforms? Are you out on those too?
No,
just gimmicky.
So, oh my God! So you're wrong on both occasions.
No, the Heat ones are different.
Oh,
the Heat ones are different.
Go back to the pinstripes; those were awesome jerseys. The Marlins.
If you're gonna go Miami Vice route, if you're the Marlins, go all in with the pink. Go all in.
I mean,
the Marlins are in town.
You see Starlin Castro? That's the only Marlin I can name.
They got that other guy.
Yep, exactly. Next segment. I don't care.
Phillies. The Phillies. Are you guys are you buying into this Phillies hype? Obviously they have Harper. We don't need to get fully into Harper unless we want to talk about the bat flip in a second. The entire roster is pretty impressive. JT Realmuto is an underrated acquisition. That guy's going to make a difference. Gene Segura, same thing. I don't know why Gene Segura is a team hopper though. He's been on 4 teams in the past 4 years. I don't know what's going on there. But David Robertson, even though he walked in he lit up a walk-off walk, that wasn't a very good look. It's still a very talented roster, and this is my pick to win the NL East. I wonder if you guys are in as in on the Phillies this year as I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in on him. I just don't think Nola is going to be as good as he was last year. And how could he? He had like a career year. The only thing to me is they're starting pitching. I think they're going to be one of these teams, sort of like the Dodgers, where they just try to out-hit teams. So,
right.
I mean, it'll make for exciting baseball. I would love to see that, like, it come down to a Mets Phillies series with the Mets pitching versus the Phillies bats. I think that would be awesome.
What about you guys?
I am in on the Phillies. I don't know if they'll win the NL East because I am a surprising take still living on this hill. I think the Nationals are going to win because they might have the best pitching in a shocking twist, and I'm a big Soto guy.
They haven't looked very good to start the year. That's the only thing.
No.
They look a little bit, and Trey Turner's hurt. There's a lot of like bad juju going on with
exactly, but they still have a decent lineup when everyone's healthy with Turner and Rendon and stuff. I don't know. I still believe in them, and I love Scherzer, but I didn't realize how important having someone after Bryce Harper that's actually scary. And I think Rhys Hoskins is going to have an unbelievable year. And I'm a big Rhys Hoskins guy anyway, but they're going to help each other both because, lefty than righty or righty than lefty, however they want to do it, is super important. And I didn't realize that until he got there. And I'm like, oh, Rhys Hoskins gets fastballs and puts them over the fence now. Cool. There's
a reason the When You're Hot award is named after Rhys Hoskins. And that's because that guy is an absolute beast. I do agree with Zach that pitching's probably going to end up being the issue if they run into troubles. Like Aaron Nola, we've already seen him. He's had a couple of bad starts already to start the year, and he's actually my NL Cy Young pick, so that's good. It's hard. Nick Pivetta, he's one of these guys who has so much potential, and I think he could be a really good number 2 or 3 in that rotation. He just has not looked like it. His career ERA is like 5.50. Everyone thinks this guy's going to pan out, and it's just not happening. So I do think pitching could be the issue. Obviously the acquisition of David Robertson is going to help them in the bullpen. It's the starting rotation that could be a problem. So that's the Phils. The Nats, like we said about the Nats, that rotation, if it lives up to its potential without 1, 2, 3 of Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, that's going to be a problem. So I know we talked about, like you said, Zach, who's got a better 1-2 than DeGrom and Syndergaard. Scherzer, having the 1, 2, 3 of Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, that comes close to that 1-2. So if you're going to put like one team against it, it's probably them. So yeah, that's the NL East.
How about the baby Braves? Anyone?
We got to believe in them. I believe in the Braves too. This is what I mean with the NL East. Why it's so hard, like to just say like be in on the Mets or be in on the Phillies, because it's just so. All of these teams are going to be in it at the end of the year. So I'm curious to see what transpires between now and then, injury wise. Which teams just simply don't have, like the Braves are another one of these teams that I'm not a complete believer in the pitching staff, but they seem to figure it out at the end of the year. So it's really tough to pick a team in this division.
Yeah, there's always a feature division in MLB where like the race is going to be tight between 4. It's usually the NL Central because there's usually. I think it's both of these this year. Yeah. I think it's the East and the Central this year. The National League's just a lot deeper, and I think maybe not at the top end better, but there's a lot more quality teams in the AL.
Agreed. Yeah, it's the same thing as last year. I think we were saying the same thing then. So you mentioned the Central here. The Brewers off to an amazing start. Christian Yelich still doing his NL MVP thing. The way he ended last season seemed like it couldn't have been like it was just one of those things that happens, and then you go into the next year and he regresses to the mean. That has not happened. He's been unbelievable to start the new season. So the Brewers are a team to watch out for this year. What are your thoughts on the Brewers, and how do you think they're going to stack up to the rest of a division that's, again, like the East, very competitive?
I give the Braves so much credit coming off their postseason. There was no hangover. They seem really hungry, which is what I love to see from teams, and they seem like they'll be energized all year. They're so deep in their order. They're bringing guys off the bench, hitting dingers. Again, they're one of these teams that'll try to out-hit you. I'm not in love with any of their pitching.
They needed to get an ace. Yeah,
and they still can at the deadline too. Yeah. I don't know who's available, but possibly someone. So I think that's the way they want to win, and that's the way they're going to go. So I think they're going to be there to the end. I have them winning the NL Central. So
all right, interesting. Graz, what do you think?
Look at them. Look at our Brewers as a possible Keuchel destination. I see that working out very well for them.
I think Keuchel might have passed away. I haven't heard anything about him.
He'd be a great fit on that team.
I thought Kimbrel was going to go to the Brewers.
Yeah, they just need one more piece.
What is going on? That could be the down. Speaking of Kimbrel to the Brewers, that could be their downfall too. Is Corey Knebel's gone? They have to really rely on Josh Hader heavily. which not a bad thing to do. Like there's worse problems out there than having only Josh Hader in your bullpen. They need that one more guy in that bullpen to kind of complement Josh Hader. And obviously with Knebel gone, that's tough.
Watch out for their fun lineup when they put Moustakas at second base now. It's very fun. I have no idea what their infield is, but they hit the hell out of the baseball, so I'm in on it.
They do.
But they just have they're literally playing people. They're like, oh, just play there. It's the National League. No one gives a crap about defense. Just hit the ball.
Yeah.
I'm in.
That ballpark's become a tough place to play for opponents too. Like it used to be all like opposing teams' fans, but their fans are kind of in love with the team right now. So
my dream job is to be the Brewers mascot that just goes down that side.
I thought you were going to be the sausage race guy.
Bernie Brewer, baby.
That's up there too, actually. But at least with the slide thing, you don't have to actually exert any energy. You just go down the slide and then you just go right back up. Yeah, I'll take either one of those. How much do you think he gets paid to just go down? Like, does he get paid per home run? Maybe. Like, I don't really know. Like, because he's not doing anything otherwise, really.
Yeah, it's probably like a college. Can we talk about Milwaukee sports? They got the Bucks and the Brewers. What is going on?
Milwaukee's just an absolute, powerhouse.
City. Yeah. What a city.
Yeah. What a city. Another city that's, I mean, they're supposed to be a powerhouse, but they're apparently not. The Cubs suck. The Cubs just aren't good. They have no pitching. Yu Darvish is one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen.
Yeah. I just dropped him in fantasy. #fantasy play.
I don't know what's going on. Like his first start was actually the worst performance by a starter I think I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
There's going to be a 30 for 30 on how much Yu Darvish duped teams into signing him and thinking he was awesome.
What's the opposite? They had one on players going broke. They need the opposite where he just made all of this money doing nothing. It's going to be him, Sam Bradford, and Kevin Brown all in a room.
I'm in on that. I like that. What if I told you these players weren't very good, but they got paid a lot of money?
Oh my God. Nick Foles will be there. It'll be awesome. I'll watch that.
Can't wait. That's going to be good. What other than the rotation, is there anything on this team that you're concerned about? Because for me, I think it is a bright spot knowing that they still have a lineup that could just put up 10 runs in a game. And it's not they could just do it on any given day. That is one bright side. But I'm not in on the Cubs this year. I'm just going to say it. I'm just not.
Yeah, the way they started has been terrible. I think they probably have the worst bullpen in baseball. And if they don't get good starting pitching from Hendricks, Lester, and Darvish, I mean, they don't have a shot. And they're all I don't also think they're that deep. They're starting guys I've never heard of before. And that was never a thing for the Cubs, like Bodie and Carantini and some other guys. I just they still have Rizzo, Schwarber, Baez. But other than that, I don't see a lot there, honestly.
Yeah, obviously Chris Bryant too. I mean, and Chris Bryant had that one season where he was unbelievable. And now he's good. I mean, I'm not saying Chris Bryant's not a good player, but I mean, he's not like an MVP candidate every year unless he really picks it up this year. I just don't see it. That's pretty much it with the Cubs. Cardinals, they got Goldschmidt. They're looking, I mean, I don't know. What's their record right now? I don't know. I think they started off slow.
I think.
What are they?
4-5.
So they're not looking spectacular, but they do have that talent on that team. I think that it's going to go, if I had to predict right this second, I'd probably have talent-wise Cardinals winning the division. It's tough. I think it's going to be between them and the Brewers, but I think it's one of those two teams, Cardinals or Brewers, winning the division. And then the Cubs, I actually think they could miss out on the playoffs this year. That's how I look at them.
Yeah, the National League's deep, so if you get off to a slow start, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Exactly.
If someone's good in your division.
Speaking of the NL Central, Pirates and Reds gotten a little. I mean, neither one of these teams matter. I know the Reds kind of revamped their own lineup and they added Sonny Gray. If anyone cares about that, Pirates Reds got into their own little bottom of the NL Central fight. They're going to be in a battle for just not last place this season, and they got in a literal fight this week with Chris Archer versus Derek Dietrich and Yasiel Puig, pretty much.
Yeah, that was an underrated fight. I didn't see a ton of people talking about it on Twitter. But it was one of those WWE fights where you thought it was all right, everyone's calm. And then Puig just turns around. He's coming back in. There was 2 or 3 times I watched the whole video where, all right, it looks like everyone's going to go back to their bench. And then someone turns around and just starts throwing haymakers. It took a bunch of guys for Puig to, for him not to fight. I mean, he was angry. And he wasn't even really involved, right? It was Dietrich who pimped the home run.
Right. And I'm just glad Puig hasn't changed in Cincinnati. Just because he's not in Hollywood anymore, he's still the same crazy Puig.
He is my favorite teammate. Like, he's the teammate that's like, oh, my guy's going to throw at you. I'm going to beat the snot out of you. I want him on my team 100 times out of 100. Also, one of my all-time favorite fight things that happen is when an opposing player from the other team comes over to try to calm down the hot player. Yeah. If you watch closely, Melky Cabrera is over there yelling at Puig in Spanish to calm down, and he like pushes Melky out of the way to go fight him. It was awesome.
Joey Votto was the whole guy holding him back, and Votto, kind of like a built guy, he had no shot holding back Puig like at all. So I'm surprised actually that no one got hurt in that with Puig in there, because Puig's the type who, like, you don't see swinging happen much in like baseball fights. It's usually just hold me back. I think Puig wanted to actually murder someone on the field that day. I think Archer's life was at stake.
Leave it to the Reds. They're 1-8. They're gonna get into more brawls this year with the team they got, because they're gonna be terrible and it's gonna be midsummer and they're just gonna be fed up with it, and they're like, Puig's gonna act out.
Absolutely.
On this season, I feel like.
Who do you think finishes last place between the Pirates and the Reds this year?
Reds for sure.
I was going to go Pirates.
Pirates at least have some like decent arms. The Reds, I mean, Luis Castillo's their only guy, really.
Sonny Gray, man.
Sal Romano. Is he still there?
Sal Romano, yeah.
Funny thing, dude. I was at the NCAA tournament in Hartford. These guys must have been Sal Romano's buddies. They had 3 Sal Romano Reds jerseys that they were wearing.
The real question is, why weren't you wearing one too?
Yeah, because I took him deep.
Right.
That's the story.
That's what everyone's talking about.
He gifted it to you after, like, he returned home and he removed his jersey. Jersey swapped.
I was just about to say, it was like one of those Dwayne Wade jersey swaps. Oh, man. All right. NL West, we'll wrap it up with. The Dodgers apparently are really good again. I actually didn't see that coming. I thought this would be the year that the Dodgers not struggle, but aren't really, like, they've been to the World Series the last 2 years. I didn't think there would really be a chance of that this year. I was just down on them. No particular reason other than, like, bad juju with Kershaw being injured. I didn't think really Walker Buehler was ready to step up as like the ace. I wasn't crazy about the rest of the rotation. The lineup, yeah, it's good, but there's other good lineups too. Yeah, they proved all that wrong so far. They're an absolute wagon. That they're hitting home runs. They're hitting like 20 home runs a game. It's insane. So I think you have to assume that the Dodgers are going to win the NL West this year.
Yeah, I think the NL West down a little bit from the last couple years. Until the Dodgers prove in the postseason, I'm out on them. I just don't like these teams that rely on the home run. It's sort of like why I don't think the Yankees will go anywhere either. Like, they'll make the playoffs because they just have a bunch of depth and guys that can hit home runs. But I don't think you can win deep into the playoffs just relying on the home run. They go station to station baseball. So
they need Kershaw to be at least a semblance of himself if they're going to make it far, which it's kind of weird to say that with his struggles in the postseason, but I just associate the Dodgers' success with Kershaw's success. And I know that probably is the wrong way to go about it because they are pretty stacked and they do have a lot of depth too. So it's not really all about Kershaw. They do have guys who can fill in. I don't know. I kind of agree with you with the postseason thing. I still think they're going to win the NL West. And my original pick was the Rockies to win it. They don't look good at all, the Rockies.
Yeah, which is funny because I thought this was going to be the year. They re-signed some of their guys. They got the buy-in from Arenado.
Well, right away, Daniel Murphy got hurt, and I thought he was going to be. I mean, right off the bat, I thought he was going to be one of their better hitters. Their lineup sucked very bad last year. They underachieved big time last season. Other than Arenado and Story, they were horrible. And this year, it's kind of the same thing. The lineup hasn't looked good at all. The pitching isn't what it was last year. The pitching overachieved last year, and it hasn't come close to that so far this season.
I saw a stat the other day that Trevor Story had the longest home run average last year. Like, on average, his home runs went the longest in MLB. I mean, that's ridiculous. So,
yeah, it's your guy. Yep. Big Trevor Story guy.
Big Trevor Story.
So that's Dodgers, Rockies, the Giants. I mean, the Padres are pretty intriguing. I love watching Fernando Tatis Jr. I think he's going to be one of the best players to watch. If you haven't tuned in to watch him at all this season, I don't know what you're doing as a baseball fan, because he's one of these guys. He's going to be a lot like him, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Eloy Jimenez. And if you want to put them, I know like these guys aren't rookies, but like the Ronald Acuñas of the world, the Juan Sotos, this is the future. This is the future of baseball. So they're all worth tuning into. Team that's not really worth tuning into, in my eyes, is the San Francisco Giants. There's no one on that team that's
awful.
Even remotely,
they're awful.
Remotely intriguing to me.
Awful.
I don't know if we need to say anything else.
No, I have a
Bruce Bochy last season.
Yeah, that's nice. That'll get some tickets sold. They're awful.
Yep, they're bad.
Go watch the Warriors.
Madison Bumgarner is going to get traded by. I'll just say the trade deadline. I was going to put like a specific date on it. I'll just say he's gone, right? Like if they don't trade him, that's idiotic. Nah, that's not going to happen.
How do we feel about the D-backs? They just kind of took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox, right? So.
I was going to mention them next as another one of these teams. Like, who cares? Like, they don't have Goldschmidt. They don't have Pollock. They don't have Corbin. Like, they're in a rebuilding phase, and I know it's cute now. Adam Jones is playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, after having, like, the worst season of his career. But other than that, I'm just not high. I mean, the Giants and the Diamondbacks are the 2, like, potential last-place teams in that division. I think Giants are obviously the last-place team there. I don't know. Neither one of those teams does it for me. I know the Diamondbacks have kind of overachieved so far, but still, they're kind of a bottom of the barrel team in my eyes.
Yeah, agreed.
And Zack Greinke he's a better hitter than a pitcher at this point.
Yeah, 2 dingers versus the Padres.
Yeah. So, all right. So that pretty much wraps it up. We don't have to go like in depth here. We'll all go around division by division, just say our division winners, and then we'll move on to the next topic. AL East. I'm still going with the Red Sox.
I'm going with the Red Sox, too.
I think our Yankees do it.
Wow. Who would have thought that?
Your Yankees.
Our Yankees.
Who would have seen those 3 predictions coming? I have no idea.
Red Sox stink. Next.
Central, I got the Twins.
I have the Indians. I still think they're the best team.
You're not putting any money on this. So I'll take the Royals. I'm in. They're fun. I'm in. I want to watch. I want them to win. They're in.
Name one player on the Royals, Graz.
Whit Merrifield. Kick rock.
Oh, yeah. I actually will say we talked about the Royals earlier, and we didn't mention Whit Merrifield. That's another actual like pretty exciting player to watch. So
there's no rhyme or reason. I'm going Royals. All those teams stink, and everyone on the Indians is going to get hurt. You know it's true.
You're actually taking the Royals, or are you fucking with us?
No, I'll take the Indians.
Okay. AL West, Astros. Any objections?
Did you guys buy into the Mariners? I know they
no. We had that conversation. We were like, "What's going on here? Are we gonna have to do this again with the Mariners?" And we quickly said no. So we're not in on the Mariners.
Astros.
We're a very anti-Mariners podcast. I'm deciding that.
Pro Rockies, anti-Mariners. I'm fine with
that. Try to lure you in, man. Every year, the Mariners.
The big tease. So the Astros, we don't need a. I mean, that's got to be it, right? So
yeah.
NL East. I said Nationals before the season. I'm switching that to Phillies.
I'm going to go with the Phillies as well.
I'll take the Braves. Let's make it fun.
Didn't you say the Nationals earlier, Graz?
Yeah, but I decided against it now. That was a stupid pick. Trey Turner's hurt. I have 3 Nationals on the fantasy team. Zach, I don't know if you heard it earlier. I'm going to describe it later. I'm doing fantasy baseball for the first time this year. And I have no idea what I'm doing. And I have a lot of Nationals, so I need them to do well. But then after saying it, I realized how stupid I am, and I'm a big Braves guy.
All right. I mean, all 3 of those teams have a shot. So, okay. Central.
You're allowed to change your mind.
Yeah. Central. Just going to go with the Cardinals. Gut feeling Cardinals. Brewers, close second.
I'm going Brewers.
Yeah. The Fighting Yeliches.
Okay. Wrap it up with the West. I like I said, I picked Rockies before the season. Think you got to switch that to Dodgers at this point. It's sad. Dodgers. I mean, we're Rockies guys. It's
I mean, we're also we live in reality, guys.
Right. Yeah. So there you go.
Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers.
All right. So that's that. World Series.
Oh, what do you got?
I got So I'm not going to actually change my I know I changed some of my division predictions for this podcast because I made preseason predictions too. That's already, some of those have changed already. I'm not changing my World Series prediction only because, I'm stubborn. Astros Nationals. Astros win in 6.
Wow.
Actually, no, sorry. It's not Nationals. Phillies. Astros Phillies.
Yeah,
sorry.
That would be a fun World Series, honestly.
Astros Phillies. Astros in 6.
I'm gonna go from the National League. I think they're the team of destiny. I think it's the Brewers this year. I think they get it done. From the American League, it's tough to pick against the Red Sox, but I think I'm gonna have to go Astros too. So Astros Brewers in a weird World Series.
Well, it almost happened last year. So
yeah, it's like the Texas Tech UVA of World Series.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys are gonna yell at me for this, and
Yankees in the.
You guys are gonna yell at me for this,
dude.
Brewers Red Sox.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Red Sox are going to sign Kimbrel. I don't know how, but I think he's going to come back. Come on, Mister. I work for the Red Sox company.
It's not happening.
I
don't work for the Red Sox.
I know. They'll figure something out.
Dabrowski literally said it's just not happening.
It's the Yankees or the Red Sox in the AL for me. I don't think the Astros get it done for some weird reason. I just think someone's going to get hurt. I hope. I don't know. I'm just tired of them. And I'll take the Brewers. Brewers are Zach's absolutely right. The Brewers are it.
They have no pitching. Where's that? Who's going to pitch?
Yelich is going to hit 100 home runs. I don't care.
No, he's not. It's not going to continue. I'm telling you, this Yelich thing is going to end.
Over under.
It must end.
Give me over under. I'll give you over under 33 and a half home runs for Yelich.
Oh, that's actually a really good number.
I'm over.
I'll say he hits 35. I'll say he hits 30. He's not hitting 40 this year. He's gonna hit 35. It can't keep happening.
He's gonna hit 100.
You can't tell me Yelich was not even remotely known for his power before the second half of last year. All of a sudden, he's fucking Barry Bonds.
Because what are you trying to say now?
I'm not saying.
He played in a giant ballpark in Miami with a bunch of people he didn't like. His friend passed away tragically. He goes to a new city with a small ballpark with people who actually like him, and he hits dingers. Lots of taters.
Listen, I'm not a Yelich hater. I'm not a Yelich hater. I like Christian Yelich very much. I think he's a very, very good person, a very good player. I think he does great things for the community. I'm not buying in on this Yelich power thing. I just can't do it. It has to end.
More doubles or home runs for Yelich?
I don't know. Doubles.
Okay. I'm just getting all these predictions out there, so you're wrong when we get to the end of the season because he's getting 100 home runs. Actually, no, he'll have more doubles because he's in 110 doubles.
Listen, I've been wrong plenty of times, and this could very well. I'm not going to say I'm not going to be wrong. I could very well be wrong. That would not be a crazy thing for me to be wrong.
Have you guys felt like they've been juicing the balls this year? I've seen I'll be honest, I haven't watched a ton of baseball this year. I've watched the Red Sox, obviously. There are home runs being hit with guys on the outside part of the plate just flicking their bat at it, and the balls are going so far.
Yeah, it's obviously been the case. There was that whole storyline, are the balls juiced? And many people say yes. This year has been almost last year on steroids. It's yesterday, or not yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago. There were I think there were 60 home runs hit or something like that, which I've never even heard. I didn't even know that was physically possible. And we usually try to keep up on the Tater Talk Pod Twitter account. Go give it a follow. We usually try to keep up with the home runs that are hit that day. We'll usually tweet out the highlights. I gave up. There were so many home runs hit and posted to the MLB account that I was trying to share to our account. I gave up. I was like, there's too many home runs today. We'll try it again tomorrow.
It's crazy, dude. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if the trend continues into the summer.
Yeah. We'll also see if the trend continues with Keuchel and Kimbrel, who still don't have teams. I don't know what's going on. Are they ever going to play baseball again? Is that ever going to happen?
I would hope so.
Graz thinks Kimbrel is going to the Red Sox, which is not going to happen.
Why not?
Unless he takes a team-friendly deal, that's not happening.
Did they say it's not going to happen?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then I don't read Red Sox news. I'm in on the Brewers.
No, that's fair.
Your job is to read Red Sox news. Mine is to read all sports news.
Do you think these guys will sign before the trade deadline, these two guys? They have to, right?
Yeah.
I just don't. If they haven't, nothing would surprise me. If they don't have a team, I would be like, okay, well, that's just how it's going to go, I guess. Kimbrel said he's not afraid. Apparently his agent said it's not true, so I guess it's not true. But there was that report that said Kimbrel will sit out the season if possible. So
wow. That's crazy for what are we talking here for Kimbrel? A difference of 10 million, maybe 5 million from what
they're asking for too much money. And I know I usually side with the players in these kind of issues, but just fucking sign a 1-year deal and then figure it out next year. Just figure it. Just join a team. Do you want to play baseball? You're just lessening your value by being stubborn and all this. And then your next contract's going to stink.
Yeah, they're sitting on a pile of money and they have all the leverage. The teams, if they have someone injured, then they figure, I can throw some money at the Knable injury.
These aren't just regular average players we're talking about. We're talking about a former Cy Young winner, and we're talking about one of the best closers of all time. We're not talking about Joe Schmo. We're not talking about Pedro Alvarez. We're talking about Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell.
I was shocked because I thought the perfect situation happened for him because Sevy got hurt like a week before the season started. I'm like, oh, big market Yankees team needs pitcher now. And then they signed Gio Gonzalez instead. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what these pitchers want. I don't know what Kimbrell and them
Gio
want.
Gonzalez is in the minors right now, right?
Yeah, he gave up 4 home runs in his first minor start. So I don't think he's coming up.
I could take Gio Gonzalez deep.
We'll have to do we'll have to get him on the pod and see if he'll do.
Yeah, I mean he'll be out of the majors after.
Yeah. But yeah,
what is the Yankees doing that though? They're like they're starting to cheap out a little bit. You know,
well, it's because they're no longer a big market team. They are upstart underdog Yankees team.
Take your propaganda someplace else, man.
Unless it involves Aaron Hicks, then they spend the big money.
Yeah, Aaron Hicks, switch hitter. Is that Bernie Williams? I got to squint and see.
That's actually pretty good comparison.
It's an identical comparison. That's why they paid him.
Yeah, it's still stupid. Do you hold anything against them at this point because of like obviously the injuries to Tulo, the injury to Didi? Are you pissed that they didn't bring in Machado?
No.
Like, do you hold that grudge against them or Harper even? Like, I know your outfield's already kind of figured out, but like even just that other guy.
I was surprised they didn't do it, but I'm not upset about it. If that makes sense, I'm shocked they didn't bring in one of them. I thought they really were going to, but the number that they had set for these players was kind of outrageous. Yeah. So here's my crazy prediction, and I don't know if it happens. There is a long lineage of Red Sox players that get overpaid by the Yankees. Some work out well, some don't.
Right.
And I think they might be thinking of someone that might come over and play some outfield for them.
Huh. I hope you're wrong.
I know.
I don't know.
It's not ridiculous.
We're at like the end of the podcast now, and I almost feel like I don't want to end the podcast on that note, imagining that could happen.
We could talk about my fantasy team.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Here we go. Go ahead.
This is it. So you don't have to talk about my prediction is that Mookie Betts will be a Yankee. That's what I was saying. Okay. Now, next. So fantasy team named after the Rockies.
Okay.
We're doing a little, just, what is it called? I named it after the Rockies and my favorite album of all time, which is What's the Story? Morning Glory, which is an Oasis album. So I did What's the Story? Like Trevor's Story, Rocky's Glory. There you go.
That.
Shout out to the podcast.
I don't know if many like how many Oasis fans are in your fantasy baseball league.
Other than me, 0. But
okay, so
I'm glad you guys liked it.
I like it. Yeah.
Currently getting crushed in categories. I lost the first matchup 2-10. I've never done.
You play categories? That's the wrong way to play.
First time.
I haven't played fantasy baseball since high school.
It's impossible. You have to pay attention.
I don't want to get into why categories are it's the worst way to play fantasy baseball.
I think the way we did it was just like weekly matchups, like your points accumulate over the course of a week or something, and then whoever wins the week.
Yeah,
like,
we always did raw points.
That's
raw
points.
Yeah, I think that's just what it was.
I think I don't get categories counted though. I think it's just like I got a loss.
I don't really get how category. Can you just explain that?
Like and there's stupid categories too. So they're like runs created
plus
and batting average against.
What do you do? Like who has the best WAR for the week? Like who has the best FIP?
And I'm really confused. And I'm used to playing fantasy football where you pay attention on Tuesday night. You see if you got your people on Wednesday.
Your league sounds like it sucks.
Well,
like, I would hate
friend of the pod runs the league. He's going to listen to this and be excited.
Man, they're like, Graz knows baseball. He knows nothing about fantasy. Let's get his buy-in, whatever the buy-in is. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's easy money.
I feel like a sucker. I feel like
you got suckered.
Yeah, I got – okay, so the reason I'm bringing this up, any fantasy baseball tips on players, please submit to @TaterTalkPod or @MartyGras31 because I have no idea what I'm doing.
By the way, speaking of fantasy, we have like I don't know if you guys saw my interaction with this person. Actually, you might not have because I think it was via email. No, it was DMs. We have we're like in a affiliate thing for some fantasy thing, and we haven't done one thing. I'm just too lazy. Like I've never heard of this fantasy place, but we'll have to give out the code for that. I hope they don't listen to this.
What does that even mean?
Well, there's like this. It's Thrive Fantasy. So there's their plug. Thrive Fantasy. There's up and coming fantasy thing, and
cool.
we're like if you sign up for them, we get a little cash. But I don't know how. Like I'm too lazy to do that right now. So we'll have to wait for the next
episode. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and they're big friends of the show too. I hope they don't listen to this because they're gonna be like, you're out. But Yeah. Next episode, we'll
it's a
figure
daily
it out.
Fantasy. Yeah, it's daily fantasy.
There
it's
you go. Daily Fantasy, Thrive
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Sign up. Don't sign up yet. Wait till we put links out and stuff. I'm just too lazy to do it right now.
Next week, big next couple weeks for us. We're gonna thrive.
What? Name another podcast that's like, hey, we got like, we're not like, it's not like a sponsor, but like, hey, we could make a little bit of money, like maybe doing this and getting people to sign up. We'll figure it out later. Like maybe sign up for them.
We're doing this for the love of the game, not for the cash, Justin.
Exactly.
So
that's
download their app on the App Store and get it on Google Play. So they have an app.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Apps are cool.
Wow. I can't wait to try this thing out. And it's going to be my new, like I said, I've never done fantasy baseball before. Guess that's about to change because Thrive Fantasy is the place to be. Try Thrive Fantasy, not today, but next week when we send out the links so we can make a little bit of money. That's the ad read.
I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to cut that. That is a perfect ad read.
Okay.
Said with so much enthusiasm.
Where am I supposed to end this podcast? Before the Mookie Betts thing, or what's going on here?
I think we can end it right here.